So I think I think this application is working this time. I mean, this application is working. So normally or so properly anyway. So hello everybody. I'm Richard Go of Work to Live podcast version. So I haven't spoken English language for this week. So which is why I need some lubrication or some I need some practice for I need some practice of speaking English language, which is why in this I mean in every episode not to discussing but actually digressions have real have played really a huge role. So digressions had really a huge had really huge roles for for letting me practice speaking English language. So which is why anyway, I think you have already noticed that. So I'm speaking English clumsily, or so my speaking manner is really weird or strange. Or I'm nervous actually. So because I haven't spoken English language, so maybe So maybe I have been used to speaking English language. So that is because I was speaking out another stuff different from the main track of this episode, which is why maybe I think it's fine to start the main track of this episode, I think. But actually, so anyway, so what should I talk about? How should I proceed? Yeah. Anyway, so I have decided. So I'm going to talk about the main track of this episode, and after which, so if I was if I'm willing to, or if I'm willing to talk about other things different from or different I mean so different from the main topic of this episode, and so which is so in such a case, so I'm going to talk about other things different from the main topic of this episode, and this time is about so the name of the name of this person is an assassin who killed or who assassinated an ex prime minister of my country, and I think so. This this is just my perspective, but or this is just my opinion. But actually, so his name is going to be written in the textbooks or textbooks of for students. So that is because there's a so in the case of my country. So by the way, my country is Japan, and in the case of my country, there was another, or there had been another prime minister who had he might have been ex prime minister when he was killed, and I don't get full, or I don't get exact recollection. I don't get full recollection, but actually, so as long as as long as I could remember, maybe anyway he had been there was a prime minister. There was a prime minister or an ex-prime minister who had been killed by an assassin, or who had been assassinated anyway. And he's maybe he was the first prime minister of my country anyway. So after modernization of this country, there was a so maybe not the first prime minister of my country. So I don't remember, but actually, so there's an assassin who, I mean, so that previous assassination was perpetrated in maybe that assassination occurred in the maybe in the beginning in the beginning of 20th century. Yeah, so why I can say so is because that assassination stemmed from the conquest of Korean Peninsula, and the name of that assassin was Anjungun is the name, is his name. Wait a moment, please. I don't know whether I have pronounced the correct his correct name, but actually, so wait a moment, please. I don't know whether I could get his webpage of Wikipedia, and so his name is An Jung-gun. An Jung-gun yeah. So I don't, so if you're a native speaker of Korean language, I don't know whether, I can't surely say that I could pronounce his name correctly. Anyway, An Jung-gun is an assassin who killed ex-prime minister or prime minister of my country. Maybe this writes about that. So wait a moment, please. Maybe this has an article or this has a part about whom he killed. Anyway, whom he killed is must be written here. And he killed. Wait a moment, please. Yes, he was this prime minister was killed. And I'm reading a Japanese article, and maybe this person must be written here. And yeah. According to this article, he had been a terrorist. Anyway, but actually, anyway, whatever you say. Anyway, so whether that ex-prime minister had been a prime minister when he had been assassinated, or he had been an ex-prime minister when he had been assassinated, was not an important topic in this episode. So anyway, but actually, so I know the name of that assassin who is a Korean anyway. So when he was born when the Korean peninsula had been united anyway. He had been born when the Korean peninsula had been united anyway. So which is why his nationality is Korea. His nationality must be Korean. And anyway, so he killed. Anyway, so Mr. An Jung-gun killed, assassinated. Anyway, that ex-prime minister, and I have seen his name. I have seen his name in the textbooks in schools. So I have seen his names many times. So which is why maybe many students know his name, but actually, so many students in my country have remembered Japanese manners of reading his names, and so in the case of my country and Korean societies and Chinese societies, they have used Chinese languages, and in this present time, and by the way, I'm recording this episode it's still in January in 2023, and at this time, so South Korea and North Korea cease to use Chinese characters, or South Korea and North Korea do not use Chinese characters, but actually mainland China and Taiwan use Chinese characters, and to start with, they use Chinese languages, and Taiwanese people use Taiwanese language, which is a branch of, I think, which is a branch of Chinese language, and my country is Japan, and Japanese people use Chinese characters every day, almost every day. I mean, there must be some exceptions, but actually, so most people, or almost all the people use Chinese characters in the case of the local people in my country, and his Chinese character means. Wait a moment, please. I should tell you. Yeah, his Chinese character, the Chinese characters used for his name have three Chinese characters, and his family name means so secure, or security, or safe. So the Chinese character of his family name has such a meaning, and Jungun, and Jungun means so heavy, or necessary, or important, which is the meaning of the first Chinese character of his first name, and so the other Chinese character is root. The meaning of the other Chinese character is root. So anyway, so and in this part, well, when I introduced his name to the listeners or to you, which means to you, so I'm sorry for the noise of maybe this is a motorbike actually. I think this is a noise of this is the sound of motorbike anyway. So when I introduced his name to you, so I have made a mistake. So the mistake is that I should have told you the first name at first, and I should have told you his family name the, at second anyway. So in the Western manner of telling it, in the Western manner or in the Western manner of introducing people. So people have to tell their own first names, which is why, so in the case of Western manners, so Jungun Ang is a Western manner of his name, and so by the way, so the second Chinese character of his first name means root, or how should I say root, or foundation, or the essence was the origin. Anyway, his second Chinese character had such a meaning in the case of Japanese, in the case of the Chinese characters used in my country anyway. But actually, so the same Chinese characters must be used in mainland China, and maybe South Korean people would. Maybe South Korean people would have those Chinese characters. They don't use Chinese characters in their daily lives, but actually, they just still access Chinese characters used for the names of people anyway. And anyway, his Chinese characters have such meanings, and so in the case of my country, so people remember his name as Anju Kong. Anju Kong is Japanese manner of reading his name, and so in the case of so Western manner of calling people, so Jukong is Japanese manner of reading the Chinese characters of his name, and in the case of Chinese characters, maybe Chong Chonggen or Chonggen or Chonggen. Maybe it's complicated. So the second anyway the first Chinese character in his first name has two manners of readings in the case of Chinese language, as long as I know. Anyway, but actually, so his correct name has to be read in Korean language, which is why, so bringing his family name to the first. So and Jungun. So if you'd like to bring his first name to the first, so Jungun Ang is his name, and you can, so we have seen, or Japanese people have seen his names in the textbooks when they were students, or at schools anyway. So which is why they are, so people in my country, the local people in my country are sort of familiar with his names, which is why, so considering which, so Mr. Tetsuya Yamagami is going to be written in the textbooks of my country in schools, or used in schools, used by students anyway. So such a thing, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So, and maybe that's not what I'd like you to know. Anyway, so I haven't told you. I haven't told you. I made a mistake in English language. I haven't told you. So the title and the conclusion of this episode, the title is And then he became a god, and the conclusion is Mr. Tetsuya Yamagami, who assassinated an ex-prime minister, is worshipped as if he was a god. So there are many in my country. So there are many people who worship Mr. Tetsuya Yamagami as a god, and in the case of his first name, so one of the causes is his family name. So his family name is Yamagami, and so the the Chinese characters of his family name is mountain and upper or above. The second Chinese character in his family name has such a meaning that, but actually, so there's a Chinese character meaning God, and the Chinese character meaning God, and his second his second Chinese character in his family name has well, not has have the same manner of reading, which is why so some people call him Mr. Yamagami or Yamagami-sama, Yamagami-sama, or anyway. So when people worship somebody, so someone is added to the someone is added to, or someone is annexed to the last or to the end of personal name anyway. So which is why so in his case, so some people some some people who worship him, including his achievement. So call him. So Yamagami-sama, or mountain god, Mr. Mountain God, or how should I say? So your holiness. So how to call him is how to call him is alike to your holiness in when calling popes, for example, or when calling fathers of Christianities. And so I don't know. So I don't know so the I don't know the details about religious stuff about Christianity no Islam, but actually anyway. So there are many people who worship who worship that present assassin, and that present assassin is Mr. Tetsuya Yamagami, and many local people in my country worship him for what he had done, and he has assassinated an ex-prime minister, maybe not maybe in last year, or in the summer of last year, maybe, yeah. And and after which, so there was a so many things, and it was revealed that the local government or Japanese government has a strong or intimate connection with a cult named so Unification Church, and in this present time, so the name of that religion is really is quite long. So which is why I can't remember the entire or exact name of that religion, or of that cult. But actually, so anyway, so the fact is that the government of this country had a strong or maybe the government of this country may still have a strong tie, or may still have an intimate and thick tie with with the cult name, with the cult previously named Unification Church. So it is but actually, so and until the assassination, or until the disclosure of the motive Mr. Tetsuya Yamagami had for killing or for assassinating that ex-prime minister. So that strong connection, or that strong tie between that cult and the local government, or the government of no, the national government of this country had been hidden, or had been concealed. Or the strong connection between the cult and the government had been concealed, or had been hidden. But actually, so after that assassination, so better said, that assassination clarified, or that assassination brought the connection to the view, or to the eyes of general public, which is why so so there was an replacement, or there were exchanges of the members of this government, or of the government of this country anyway. So which is why so his assassination triggered was the assassination of Mr. Tetsuya done by the assassination executed by Mr. Tetsuya Yamagami sort of changes the government of this country. So which is possible to say. So in such a case, so what that assassin had done can be really significant. So I mean in favorable or in good way, in good way or in a good meaning. So it's possible to say that what Mr. Yamagami did really a great and how should I say, so favorable or so welcoming stuff for in favor of this country or in favor of the people living in this country. Such a thing is possible to say, and which is what I'd like you to know this time. So I'm going to end this recording, and the title is "And Then He Became a God," and the conclusion is Mr. Tetsuya Yamagami, who assassinated an ex-prime minister, is worshipped as if he was a god. And why I wrote this title is that so the model of the title of this episode is that famous book written by Miss Agatha Christie. So and then there were none is a model for this episode, and I'm sorry for the siren of maybe ambulance or fire engine so that one of the books written by Miss Agatha Christie is a model for the title of this episode. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.